work less, earn more, enjoy life. That's my motto. That's my value proposition if you were to go to my website. And success is counterintuitive. And that motto has brought me the most growth in my life by living by that motto. Because working less and forcing myself to try to work less and build solutions so that I can work less rather than just being like, oh, you can't work 2 to 4 hours a day. You can only work 8 hours a day. It's like, no, I can work as much as I fucking want to if I build the systems that allow me to do that. And it's just obvious. Working less leads to higher quality rest or more rest, which leads to higher quality work. And so myself and others that are on this whole 4-hour workday kick are usually producing better work than most of the people that are working 12 to 16 hours a day, just being the hustle and grind entrepreneur that is a bit too promoted on social media. So it's work less, but earn more. Earning more is subjective. It's up to the individual, right? I would say that most people want to earn more, but they want to do it doing what they enjoy. So that's another thing that I live by. Another rule where I have to build, I have to create a way for myself to do that and not just expect it to fall into my lap. So earning more is subjective, but over time, I truly do believe that anyone that has the dedication or at least the will or want and consistency to do what they enjoy for the rest of their life and make a good income doing it, they can do that. Why wouldn't they be able to? And then the last part of the motto is enjoy life. And that is usually a byproduct of both, of working less, resting more, earning more, and just having the time and location freedom to be able to do what you choose to do with your life. That's what I'm all about. And it's so weird when I see people in the comments or other things like challenging this notion. It's like, dude, like, do you just believe that you have no fucking control over your life? Like, yeah, you're not gonna have it right now. It takes some time. I could go on about this all day, but like, dude, like, just believe in yourself. As simple as that sounds, just like work towards a better future for yourself. But the thing is, I also fell into the trap of wanting to live the life of other people. Beachfront views and the sand in my toes and a tan like David Hasselhoff and sipping coconuts on the beach while working from my laptop. And that was until I experienced that life. I'm not here to kind of shit on the digital nomad culture. I think it's great. I really do think it's great. But like, who wants to do that? It gets old very quick where you're trying to work on the beach and you can't even see your screen because the glare from the sun, and it gets too hot and you have to reapply sunscreen and you're like, I'm fucking thirsty. I'd rather just be inside working. And so I don't know, that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, you have to go through trial and error to understand what you want. You have to figure out what you don't want in order to figure out what you want. But you have to understand that the glamour and the different lifestyles that people promote, it's dopamine, right? You're seeing something that you want, and then once you achieve it, if you don't appreciate it and make it a part of your life, then that is going to fade very quickly. The Wi-Fi connection in those areas gets old. The partying and the language barrier and doing the things that you see on social media as a highlight reel, they really do get old. And so the purpose of this video, I want to talk about moderation and sustainability, because we just talked about how some of those things, or at least the glamorous things, are not truly sustainable. So I want to present a business model that allows you to create your ideal lifestyle through practice, experimentation, and iteration. It's a way to make a creative income source with your skills, interests, and expertise, but it's not limited to people that already have those things. Business in the modern day, with social media and the internet and it being so accessible and low startup costs, you don't have to pay money to post something online and ask for money in exchange for a valuable service like a freelance service or consulting service or even just a coaching call or something that is very beginner level that you can then build up and increase from there as you gain experience. And so it's kind of a new path. It's a new business model because of all of the technological advancements. But the thing is that people still consider it taboo because they aren't in the game. It hasn't been around for that long, but it's here to stay. If you decide to pursue this way of like social media and digital products and digital services and all of these things that are growing and growing over time, there's some statistic about the education industry increasing by XYZ and you understand that I am an educator, whether I like to label myself as that or not. Every single person on YouTube that is a value creator rather than an entertainment creator is an educator. They are teachers. This is a new method of education that college and formal institutions cannot keep up with because their curriculum cannot be updated to match something that isn't going to put them into a job, because the school system and just corporate government stuff is all tied together. They're training into one another. And so the internet, it threatens that because it gives the individual the power to make a creative income on their own. And so the education around that from individuals on social media and course platforms and other things, you know where they are, the school system just can't keep up with that. So that's the main thing, is it is completely in your hands. And if you do not like that, if you do not value self-reliance or personal responsibility or just taking control of your own life, then this isn't for you yet, until you come to the realization that if you want true happiness, those are going to have to become values of yours. So if you're watching this or listening to this, I'm assuming that you are between 18 and 35 years old. That's what it shows on my analytics. I have your age, I have your demographics. I'm going to steal them all and sell it to private third-party software. I'm just kidding. I don't do anything with it aside from look at this. But 18 to 35 years old. And some outliers. I see you. If you're like 40, 50, you're trying to get into this space when you're older, that's fucking awesome. Props to you. But 18 to 35. Now, the problem is that most people don't see those 18 to 35 years as past experience that they can leverage to help other people. You haven't self-reflected enough to see your own value in the problems you've overcome, and that you are genuinely equipped with information that can help other people, that you can educate them on and just help them. So the first thing is that you don't think you have enough experience. The second thing is that you think you're too boring. You think your life's too boring, when this is the cause of social media and what we were talking about earlier with the glamorous lifestyles. You don't need a glamorous lifestyle to do this stuff. You need to be interested enough to make your interests interesting to other people. I always recommend starting with writing, like Twitter, newsletter, blog, even YouTube. I'm reading my newsletter from this. But that's the thing. You don't need to even put your face on the account. You don't have to do any of that. Stop letting the limiting beliefs. What I'm saying is the very first thing I said at the start of this video is that if you want to accomplish something, then you need to build a solution in order to accomplish it. If you want to start a business without having to show your body, then build a fucking business without having to show your body. Like, it's that simple. Stop convincing yourself otherwise that you can't do something because you're not doing it like everyone else. And from my experience, the highest paid individuals aren't the ones with the looks and glamour. Those people are banking on sponsorships and other things, and they're not making very much money. I know that. The people that make the most money are the generalists. They aren't one-dimensional. They're multi-dimensional, because they're the generalists that hire the specialists. Everyone tells you to become a specialist when that's the worst thing you can do. Why? Because specialists mean that you do X, Y, Z, you go A, B, C, you do a specific thing. You do a specific thing, and that is just primed for automation. It's being automated out left and right, right? You are not a robot. You are not, I perform this specific task with this specific skill, because that's where you get automated, right? That you're able to be trained into that. You need to be a generalist and be able to move artfully and gracefully within a specific domain of interest that you have. So I guess general rule of thumb is that if you work like a robot, then you are a robot, and you will be outsourced to robots, and your job will be replaced. A human being should be able to change a diaper, plan an invasion, butcher a hog, con a ship, design a building, write a sonnet, balance accounts, build a wall, set a bone, comfort the dying, take orders, give orders, cooperate, act alone, solve equations, analyze a new problem, pitch manure, program a computer, cook a tasty meal, fight efficiently, die gallantly. Specialization is for insects. That is a quote from Robert A. Heinlein. So even more of a problem than not seeing your own personal experience as valuable is ineffective communication, because that's all people on social media are doing, is just effective and persuasive communication to make their own interests valuable and interesting, or at least perceived as valuable and interesting to other people. That is the skill that you have to master, is writing, effective communication, and also effective thinking, because writing is how you clarify your thoughts. The one-person business model has always appealed to me over having employees. A simple website as a storefront, a digital product stack with high profit margins, 4-hour workdays and potential $1 million years, control over what you work on and who you work with, hard to beat. The one-person business, in my eyes, is for those that value self-reliance, time freedom, and location freedom, sovereignty, autonomy, just being able to do what you want and having enough money to do so while impacting the world and having a purpose behind your life. So one-person businesses, they use social media for building an audience, building a community, and attracting people of like minds, right? So they have leverage for the future by building an audience, because you see a freelancer and they just send cold DMs all day. Well, it's like, I build an audience and I can sell different offers whenever I want, as long as they're helpful to my audience and they want to purchase them willingly. And so they use social media as traffic, and then in order to host their products or their content or even their newsletter, we use no-code tools, right? Which is just software. So a website builder, maybe a social media scheduler, things like that, where those do specialized tasks that other people got replaced from doing. Like social media managers as a whole are going to be outsourced to just software that can do those repetitive tasks at a much, much, much cheaper price. And so that is opening up room for individuals, for solopreneurs, for one-person businesses to have every aspect of their business managed without them having to do anything aside from oversee the software and add their mind or their creative ability to those softwares together in order to create a successful business. And so another important aspect of the one-person business is lifestyle design, because if you work for someone else, you have a manager. They manage you. But when you work for yourself, you can sleep until 1 p.m. But are you going to get your work done? If you can get your work done, how are you going to systemize that? How are you going to structure your days for both maximum productivity and maximum creativity? How are you going to design the life that you want to live through trial, error, experimentation, and just self-reflection and understanding the problems that are blocking your quality of life? So you have to understand as well that there is no saturation in a one-person business, because if it is a one-person business, it means it evolves with you. I used to sell digital products and I no longer sell them, because I evolved, I changed, I pivoted a bit, and I changed what I offer. I started a different business, whatever it may be. But that's the thing, is I desaturated that market because I can only take on so much, right? This is the one-person business model, is everyone taking their piece of the pie by doing what they truly enjoy. And if everyone did that, you would have to understand that every single interest, every single person is going to study different interests. They're going to explore the crevice of reality that they are the most curious about and distill their learnings to the people that want to learn about those things. And so if every single person was authentic and honest with what they wanted to pursue and their ability to monetize that, so let's say I want to start carving out like woodworking and selling cutting boards, right? And so I study woodworking, I study like design, kitchenware design or something like that, right? You can see that like your interests are not the only one that exists, because that's the trap that a lot of us fall into, is well, everyone's doing self-improvement, everyone's studying self-improvement, everyone's a programmer. It's like, no dude, it's because you're interested in those things and you're following the 500 to 700 people that talk about those things only. So that's all that's in your brain. You haven't broken out of that bubble, and that's fine, because you're supposed to be exploring that and you're supposed to be creating your own unique perspective to further understanding in those areas, to educate people in a better way than schools can do. So there are two paths to starting a one-person business with zero experience. And first, I want you to stop thinking of business as some like billion-dollar company or something like that. Business is what you do. Business is your life's work. Business is the vessel to create your ideal lifestyle while impacting the world at large. So money is a modern byproduct of living with purpose and passing down your teachings. It's self-actualization and self-transcendence. It is a vessel for that. I like to think of it, there's like mindfulness techniques and spirituality. There's Zen techniques for achieving this actualization or enlightenment. For me, because you're not supposed to become ideological or dogmatic about one method to achieving one specific outcome. That's not how it works. Business to me is that method of doing it. It's a way of exposing myself to the world, practicing mindfulness, clarifying my thoughts with writing, and putting out a meaningful message. And now we're going to bring up the experience thing or imposter syndrome here again. I just want to make it very clear that if you could go to your friend right now and you could teach him about something that you are studying on social media or in school or whatever it may be, you're more than experienced. You're already doing this shit. You just need to do it in public. So the first path is skill-based. This is the one that most people take, where the common advice is learn a skill, sell a skill, teach a skill, or however you would organize those from 1 to 3. And this is great, but as I said, you don't want to end up one-dimensional. You don't want to sell only one skill so that way you're automated. It's a great starting point, but you have to be working to get past that, or else you're just going to be that freelancer that's making the same income, built themselves into a new 9-to-5, consistently on the verge of losing every single client, and just not having a backup or some form of leverage built, like an audience, to pivot and do whatever they want and are able to pursue their genuine curiosities that are going to change and evolve over time. So path 2, the one that I like, is development based. So the development based is based around the 4 eternal markets. The eternal markets are where most people are trying to achieve lofty goals, but there are many problems in the way of those goals, and that's where the most money is made. Those are the profitable burning problems that people have. The 4 eternal markets are health, wealth, relationships, and happiness. So path 1, by choosing a marketable skill, usually only pays attention to wealth. But with path 2, it's just built for the business of you, the one person business, because you quite literally pursue your own goals, which is your brand, which we'll talk about. You solve your own problems as you are pursuing those goals by researching your curiosities that allow you to achieve those goals faster, which is the content, the information, and the value that you are passing down. And you create a system to help others do the same. So you self-reflect and you look back, how would I have done this better? How did I do this, and what results did I have? Now, how can I help other people step by step in a faster way get to those results? So you're advancing human evolution. You're helping people evolve and actualize and transcend much faster. And that's why I said business to me is this vessel for self-actualization and even spirituality and self-transcendence. And so that system, that step-by-step system, is your offer or your product. And so that is how you be yourself, improve yourself, and profit off of yourself. You may be wondering, like, but Dan, I'm just starting out. And it's like, you don't have to write posts or create a product where it's like how to make $1 million in 3 days. You don't have to do that. You have to pay attention to where you are now, where you're going, and how you're going to get there, right? So where you are now, you may have made $0. And so how do you position your content or your product? How do you position, or what perspective are you giving about yourself? So how do people perceive you, right? You don't write a post on how to make $1 million in 3 days. You write, here's how I'm going to make $1 million in 5 years. I mean, and then you give out your plan, and then people follow along because you are a leader then, and people follow leaders. You are positioning yourself as a leader. You're helping people achieve the goals that you are trying to achieve, and you're kind of leaving breadcrumbs along the way. And then path 3 is both skill and development based. And this is kind of a given, because when you start and you haven't learned any skills yet, this is how you learn fast. If you're going to start on social media as your way of generating traffic, then you're going to have to learn how to design a good profile picture, how to design a good banner, how to write a compelling bio. You're going to have to learn how to write social media posts. So you could become a Twitter ghostwriter. You could become an Instagram post creator, whatever you call that. You could become a video editor. You could design banners for people. You're building skills as you grow your business. And that means you can help other people grow their business and offer a freelance service so you can start monetizing pretty close to from the start. And you're doing it in such a way that you're actually getting results for yourself. If you get results for yourself in a real world setting, rather than just building out portfolio pieces and never getting paid what you deserve because you don't know how to apply your skills to someone's actual business, then you practice your skills on your own business. You build your own website. You build your own landing page. Maybe you build a landing page for an affiliate product to see how good you are at copywriting, because then you don't even have to create the product. You just build an affiliate product, build your own landing page, see how good you are at that, and then you can offer selling landing pages for $1,000 to $2,000 to other creators. You see what I'm saying here? All you have to do is just fucking start. So now let's go over the 4 pillars of the one-person business. So for those that want to do what they want and help the people that they can help the most, traditional branding, marketing, content, and offer advice is not going to fit very well, because in the case of this one-person business that I'm talking about, in the next video we'll go over what a value creator is. It's a style of one-person business, and I'm breaking these down because it takes more than just one video to do. But in this case, the experience model that I'm talking about, you are your customer avatar. You are your brand. You are your niche. You are your content. You are your offer. You are everything. And self-awareness and self-reliance is going to be the greatest skill that you have. And those are the people that thrive the most in this one-person business model, is those that take responsibility for their future and help others get to where they're going. So to break down the one-person business very quickly, your goals are your brand. So what do you want out of life, and what are you leading people towards? And now the problems that are standing in the way of your goals turn into the content. So what roadblocks will your followers encounter, and how are you going to help them overcome it? And now there's a lot more that goes into content than that, but that's a great starting point, right? And so systems, or how you solve the problem, turns into a product. So how can they solve their problems faster? Because that's what people want. And now the benefits. How has this entire journey impacted your life? That turns into your marketing. So why should they care about your message, right? Why do I write every day? And how can I turn that into a persuasive argument? Anyone who's studied marketing understands that benefits-rich language is extremely powerful and persuasive. So if I wake up and I write not only to earn an income, think much more clearly, systemize all of my other content, I could go on all day long, but you can go and look at those benefits and how exactly I'm doing this on any of my landing pages. So what you do, as I mentioned in a previous video on how to solve your own problems, or how to find purpose by solving your own problems, is that's exactly what you do. You pursue a goal, you solve your own problems, you teach others how you did it, and that's your business, right? And then when it comes to building out a product or a service that you can sell in relation to that, then it just works out. And this is, of course, oversimplified. There's many, many nuances here, but if you take these foundational principles and apply them and figure out and test and experiment and do exactly what I'm telling you to do by figuring it out for yourself, so you actually have unique and genuine knowledge on how to do it, it's going to take time. But that time is going to pay back tenfold, aside from you hiring someone to build your brand for you, because then you're just relinquishing all potential leverage and just power. All right, so branding is fairly understandable. That's where you work towards a goal, and that is your brand message. That's what you're helping people do. If your goal is to make $1 million, then your mission or your message that you can start with and iterate from is helping 1,000 people make $1 million by 2025, right? Who wouldn't want to follow that? So the next pillar, content, is where people have the most problems. It's like, Dan, what do I write about? So let me introduce you to a topic that I talk about in digital economics called the domain of mastery. So what you do is you pick 3 interests. One that makes money, which is almost any of them. That's just your priority interest. Interest 2 excites you, and interest 3 is development based. So like psychology, self-improvement, self-development, metaphysics, philosophy, something that helps you understand just the progression pattern of every single thing anyone could ever do. So you can have a unique perspective on those things by applying spirituality, principles, philosophy, psychology, that kind of stuff. And then when you look at this graph, you can break them down into the principles. So what are the fundamentals or the principles of each interest, and getting results with those in relation to your goal. And then from that, you can break them down into other topics. You can break them down into mentors for inspiration. So the people that you follow and get your advice from. And then the connections, so the connections between all of them, and real world problems. And those are all the starting places that you can start writing or creating content around in a way that is very effective and educational and valuable. So pillar number 3 is the offer or the product that you're creating. And no, you don't have to wait to start monetizing. I hate that stupid gatekeeper mindset where people are like, oh, you need to be this experienced to start making an income, or you need to start doing this to start making an income. It's like, no, dude, like you don't fucking understand. You're just gatekeeping, and you're trying to Like you're not thinking, like think a bit deeper, right? How do freelancers start making money? They learn the fundamentals of a skill very, very quickly. They start reaching out to people immediately so they can get real world feedback. Next, they either charge free or very low cost because their skill isn't up to par to charge $2,000 to $5,000. And then they gradually work their way up step by step. And the sooner you start selling something, not only the sooner you can make money, but the sooner you can start failing and you can start iterating. The first product is always going to be shit. You just need to get it out. You need to get the shit out so that you can make it better, because you're never, ever, ever going to have a great product the first time around. It's just not going to fucking happen. Put an offer out there, build a digital product, sell a physical product, drop ship if you have to, start a freelance service, start a consulting service, whatever it may be. Put out content and just start getting the shit out of the faucet so clear water can flow. So it's like, okay, Dan, but what do I sell? So let me introduce to you what I call the minimum viable offer. There's minimum viable product, but an offer is like all encompassing. So the minimum viable offer is either a single freelance skill that you sell for $500 to $1,000. So that's web design, email marketing, something like that, where a single skill, it's not a crazy offer. You're never going to be able to charge $5,000 for that, but you have to start somewhere. Or number two is a single interest consulting service where you sell a pack of 4 calls for $500 to $1,000. So this is what most people do, and most people get caught up in this. It's like there's some kind of stupid stigma around freelancing where it's like, yeah, I have to do the work. I can't just teach people about it. And it's like, as a creator, I hate paying for work. I'd rather pay you to get on a call with me and consult me on how to do a specific thing, whether it's a skill or not. If it's health, I want to be taught. If you're starting an education business like this, then don't do a freelance done for you service. Just offer consulting calls or a digital product. So health coaching, fitness coaching, performance coaching, mindset coaching, life coaching, business coaching of whatever domain or niche you're in. Those are very broad. You can go a bit more deep into the sub-markets within those, like bodybuilding coaching or neuro hacking consulting, right? It's what you're interested in, and you can only find what it is that you want to teach by diving into your domain of mastery or the crevice of reality that composes the interest you want to explore in this life. But it's not like consulting isn't only limited to those. I'm really surprised that like digital tutoring offers aren't more of a thing. If I learn web design and I want to teach a creator over 4 calls how to design a great website for themselves, I think that's a great fucking offer. And if I was starting out, I would pay for that. It's the same thing. I'll get on calls for 4 weeks with you and teach you how to write compelling emails. I'll teach you how to run Facebook ads. It's a consulting offer, and I think those are much better, much more scalable than a freelance offer. And so the thing why we start with a minimum viable offer is that you can start monetizing immediately. You can start reaching out to people in the DMs. You can write a Twitter thread or a post and have others retweet it and then plug your service. So you're getting 1,000 to, if it goes viral, 1,000,000 views on your offer, and you start making money because it's traffic and it's offers. And so the other thing is why you start with this is because then you can start fleshing out a digital product and already have results for it. You can teach other people, you can get them results, and you can note the commonalities between like what you're talking about on each call, and you package it up into a course, ebook, a cohort, something of that nature that you can then switch to. And so you can stop taking on so much client work as your audience grows, and you can switch to a digital product and have more free time. And so that was just a broad overview of all of this one-person business stuff. I'll go a bit more in depth in the next video, but I want to get more people primed to this whole idea, because I feel like it's not ground shaking or revolutionary by any means, but it is very important. So with all of that, like the video, subscribe for the next one. And if you haven't already, consider enrolling in digital economics. I believe when this video goes out, it starts next week. So only the first people that actually view this video will be able to get at it when it's live. But later on, you can apply to the waitlist. And you can also check out other stuff down there, like the 2-hour writer course or Modern Mastery, which is my community, and other free creative challenges, a power planner, all of that fun stuff. So thank you for watching or listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.